Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Welcome to the exciting summer house in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place about 15 miles outside of what would be considered the city proper, in a large open expanse of empty farmland. Rain sluices down from on high, causing everything around it to have that wet, earthy smell that comes with the torrential downpour. Already, the tradition mages have stood in this field for about 20 minutes, 25 maybe. The technocracy who have agreed to the prisoner exchange are already late. You're not sure if they're doing this on purpose just to allow you to stand in the rain, or if there has been some greater delay that you're not exactly familiar with. So, we will join the two of you as you are stood in the rain. There will be a motley collection of other mages around the field, many of whom are seeing to other matters currently. And in the case other PCs show up, they will have been there the whole time.
So Hyun's probably standing nearby Roros, probably just shooting the shit. I'll look at Roros and say, "Hey Roros, I heard a joke the other day. You want to hear it?"
Roros, by the way, has little patience when something's like acting like this. So he has two coins out spinning on his fingers, flipping them back and forth while simultaneously tapping his feet. And he'll look over at you and says, "A joke? Sure, love jokes. Let's hear a joke."
Hyun looks at him and says, "A dog walks into a bar, looks at the bartender, says, 'Got any bread?' Bartender says no. Dog looks at him, asks again, 'You got any bread?' Bartender says no. Asks again, 'Got any bread?' Bartender says, 'No. If you ask that again, I'll nail your beak to the bar.' Duck looks at him. 'Got any nails?' Bartender says no. Duck says, 'Got any bread?'
Yeah, Roros will actually laugh at that. That's
Hyun just has a
quite
small,
clever.
satisfied smile.
That's quite clever indeed. Yeah. He'll pocket one of the coins and start flipping the other one a lot faster, using all his fingers this time, and he's just going to be like, "Did Evan? Did any of the seniors, high-ranking tradition mages come?"
D'Onofrio is somewhere.
Okay. Rose will look over at Hyun and he'll say, "You know what? I may have not grown up with as much experience with the technocrats as the rest of them, but I've never really known them to be late. Unless they're
Yeah,
planning a surprise attack."
that is a little odd. I don't think it's in their best interest to start trouble, but we should definitely be prepared.
Roros will nod his head and say, "Yeah, that's why I'm charging my coins."
Be careful with that, because they might interpret that as you, doing something bad, and then a fight will most certainly break out.
Roros will nod at that and say, "Don't worry, they'll go away as soon as they arrive."
Okay.
From high above you, you will see the fact the rain has started to move oddly, as it appears to sluice over something that is as yet itself unseen, until flickering into existence about 15 feet above the ground, the lush green grass, you will see this as it proceeds to drop whatever cloaking or sensory illusionary device that was keeping it obscured from the naked eye, as it gently, with a crack hiss, comes to rest on the sodden earth.
So they just showed up.
Looks like it.
Roros will pocket his coin and will stop tapping his foot. But he is still very much showing signs of impatience. It's less evident since he turned 20, but it's still there.
There is another noise as the gangplank from the back proceeds to be lowered. And striding down it, you will see this young woman. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Okay. My apologies that we're late, but that's neither here nor there. Hi. I'm so sorry. Wow, this is my first time meeting reality deviants face to face. I thought you'd have like two heads or something.
You caught me on an off day.
Huh. Interesting. Well, okay. Where are my manners? Hi. My name is, well, I suppose Dr. Loren, but I've never really liked going by doctor, but that's neither here nor there, of the New World Order. It is very nice to meet you. I have these releases, if one of you would just mind imprinting them with your thumb. She will say, holding out. She'll hold it out more than likely to Hyun. It's basically what looks to be some kind of sci-fi data pad.
Young will shrug and say, "Sure. Name's Young, by the way." Put his thumb on the pad.
Okay. You will see it will read your thumb, at which point it will flash green twice, like she'll look down, seemingly satisfied, and she'll say, nice to meet you, Hyun. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of an interesting experience, being on the non or on the verbal side of this as opposed to the unlimited firepower side of this.
Yeah, there's a little odd, isn't it? Hopefully it'll stay that way. Being verbal, I mean, not firepower. I mean,
I
yeah.
I kind of got what you meant, but thanks for the reassurance. I feel I now definitely have a case of the warm and fuzzies.
Does she respond at all to the fact that Aurora smells like ozone?
No. All right then. I'll inform my senior supervisor that the document has been imprinted and that the prisoners can now be brought out for transfer. Okay.
And we'll just kind of give a double thumbs up.
You'll see her walk back aboard the craft. A few minutes later, you will hear very, very loud footfalls, like as walking down the cargo, the cargo hatch, or coming down the cargo hatch, you will see two of these very large entities. They stand about roughly 8 feet tall. They each have glimmering weaponry in their hands in the form of a very elongated rifle. Does Hyun possess hypertech?
Yes, he does.
Would you like to roll me an intellect hypertech roll?
I absolutely would. It's 3, hypertech 3. Yeah, what's my difficulty?
Difficulty 6.
1 success.
Okay. The weapons that they have are clearly some kind of plasma rifle. You assume that it would quite happily put. You know how they say that would put a hole in a tank? This would take out half of the tank.
Fair enough.
And walking down in between them, you guys will see this gentleman. Who looks exactly as he's pictured.
Young gives him a friendly wave.
Ah yes, Mr. Hyun Choi. I've read your file. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise, Mr.
Dr. Heathcliff, Reginald Heathcliff of the New World Order. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm gonna stick a hand out for a handshake.
He will extend his own hand and he will offer you a handshake. You will see, based on the fingers of his hand, that his hand is clearly some kind of very advanced cybernetic augment.
Mhm.
But he will say, I have to admit that ever since the unpleasantness that necessitated the peace treaty, I was pleasantly surprised to see that you had not made any attempts to either rejoin the Union or gain access to your former, uh, shall we say, employee files.
Doesn't seem like the best idea, honestly. If it becomes an issue, I might in the future. Or should I have need of that information, I might.
Well,
I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie.
it's quite interesting, actually. You and I can discuss this at a later time, I'm sure. Excuse me. I think Brett has left us.
Yeah, he looked like he had to step away for something.
In that case, we'll wait until he gets back.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
What did I miss?
Tiger is talking to a man who identified himself as Dr. Heathcliff of the New World Order. He also managed to identify some of the weaponry that is being carried around by the two, what appear to be mech bodyguards the chap has with him.
Okay.
He will extend the hands to Rorus and he will say, pleasure to meet you, Dr. Heathcliff of the New World Order.
Horus will simply clap his hands together and bow, and he'll say, Horus al-Khazari of the Taftani craft.
Teftani. I don't believe I'm familiar with them.
Oh, well, then you are new to your job. It seems like you people are always going after us saying, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. You are not telling the truth. You are not telling the truth. But it is you who do not tell truth. But you know what? That is all wonder under a bridge for sake of truth.
You'll notice that his nose crinkles in distaste. Crinkle. But at this point in time, you will start to notice coming down from within the craft itself, you will see the other technocrat, the female who went in a few moments ago. As she's leading down, you see about 30 people walk from the bowels of the ship proper. Each one of them is not just wearing identical uniforms, they are wearing identical full face masks that appear to be entirely, and they are walking almost zombie-like, like in very kind of, you can see that, like in terms of they're actually walking in perfect unison, like step left, step right, step left, step right. One of them, in fact, stumbles on the. One of them, in fact, stumbles. Clearly, the access port or the gangplank is wet, and they stumble. And you will see them physically walk over them, as in stepping on them without realizing or without stopping. Hmm.
Could you have them stop and help that one up, please?
One moment. You will see he reaches down and he touches a button on a small panel that is embedded into his wrist. Which point, when he presses the button, they will all kind of stop in unison before he'll shout over to his fellow doctor, and she will then proceed to basically get him on his feet. You're not exactly sure of its gender. The clothing, the uniform is quite padded, they're all entirely covered from head to foot in in this uniform with the masks over their faces. The masks, as I said, have no identification. They all have numbers on their foreheads. They're numbered 1 to 30.
Thank you.
Anything for the spirit of cooperation. And Rora's dying on the inside.
Who's inside?
I said, and Rora's is dying on the inside.
Yeah, because it's like this is something that he fears for himself, and he's seeing it inflicted on others.
Is there a list of who these prisoners are exactly? Which groups they belong to, etc.?
Yes, indeed. You can tell that she's probably his apprentice or his junior. Walks over and presents him with another one of those large pads as she'll kind of look at it before hand it to him, and he will then hand it over to Hyun, and he will say, "Here is the identification, the memory log, the alterations, and everything else that has been performed to these individuals as per our agreement and stipulations."
Fantastic. Thank you.
Do you look over the list?
Hyun does. He'll actually look at the at Dr. Heathcliff and say, "Would you mind terribly if I imported the list into my my brain?"
Hmm. As long as that's all that you do, I can't see an issue.
You have my word.
Proceed then.
He'll push that little button on the back of his skull, and Rodos will probably see this for the first time. The back of his skull opens up and reveals like a cerebral cortex computer-looking thing. And he'll pull a small wire from inside of it and attach it to the little tablet, and just download the list of people and whatnot.
Roris is actually going to be polite, and especially to his cabal mate, and is not going to go all tech nerd all over the back of his skull.
Right.
Tiger, the minimum, because you will understand this, the minimum amount of time that these individuals have spent in areas such as Room 101 is approximately 112 hours.
Yikes.
And that is the lowest. The highest, you will notice, are a group of 3 Akashics who were logged with over 300 hours.
Any names you recognize?
I will tell you when I get back in just a moment. I'm going to go refresh my team. The 2 technocrats are going to step off to the side, so you guys can feel free to talk privately amongst yourselves.
Roris is just going to look nervously at the group and say, These weren't all from Dublin, right? These were from their holding cells elsewhere.
I'm not sure, honestly. I'd imagine so. That's a lot of prisoners for just one city. Some of these guys spent a lot of time being reprogrammed, for lack of a better word.
Has it been reversed, or are they still in that state?
I'm not sure. I'll ask whenever they come back over here. I mean, the one that spent the least amount of time in room 101, that was around 120 hours.
I've heard of that. It is where they distort the truth inside the individual.
Mhm. Which could be a very large problem. It's possible to break it, it's just difficult.
We will need experts in mind sphere at least.
Do you know anybody like that?
Nightingale. I haven't seen him around though since, well, the incident with the staff.
I was gonna suggest Lord Sideshow, but I'm a little worried about that.
I don't know much about him, but from what I've seen, I don't think trust is a big thing with him.
He respects strength at least. He'll actually like pull down his shirt a little bit, and he's got this sash hanging from his shoulders. He gave me this because prior to the whole cyborg thing, I left some scars on his chest.
Interesting.
Mhm. But he may also look at this group and say, well, they got themselves captured, and they'll just kind of draw a finger across his throat.
Saving these people was necessary. They do not deserve death simply for being unable to protect themselves from a superior force.
I completely agree. And I don't know the man myself very well, so I might be completely wrong. But
And
Ross is going to say he doesn't seem like someone with compassion.
And to answer your question, because I heard it when I was walking out of the room, these are the prisoners. The Technocratic Union openly acknowledges that they have. So it's an international thing as opposed to just ones they took in Dublin.
okay.
Was there any other questions?
I don't think any that can be found like right here.
Boris is going to openly ask, have you fixed what you've done to their truth?
We have simply given them the truth, sir.
No, you've distorted their truth.
That is a matter of perspective.
Your perspective has always been wrong, especially when you enforce it upon others.
Out of character question, Evan.
Mhm.
Would Heon know about the different stages of Room 101?
Yes,
Or no? He would? Okay. He'll look at Dr. Heathcliff. To which stage did you take these prisoners? Or is that detailed in the manifesto?
it is indeed detailed in the manifesto. Evan is now currently trying to remember the different stages. It's been a while since he's read it.
There's the social conditioning stages, I'm assuming would be these.
Yes.
It's on page 606 of M20.
Thank you. 1 moment. Did you say 606?
Yes, sir. Don't ask why I have that memorized.
I mean, Tiger, you wanted to drink, and I quote, sarcophagus juice.
Yeah, sweet sarcophagus.